Yeah, Kalia, the live stream is on. You can go ahead. Thank you. Yeah, Kalia, you are on live. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Leah. So welcome you all for third day class. Today's chapter is for unit number 4, communication. So day one we seen teaching aptitude, and yesterday research aptitude. So today communication. So in teaching, communication is a very important tool. That's why in syllabus they added in the communication. So in the communication, what are today we discuss is the communication. What is the meaning of the communication type, characteristics, and effective communication, and different communication barriers on mass media and society. So these are the topics today we will discuss. So this is the first slide. So communication meaning. So what is a communication? So communication is an English word. It came from Latin noun communius and Latin verb and Latin verb communicare. So which means make a common or sharing. So the communication root word is Latin. That is a communius Latin noun. Latin verb is communicare. So in Oxford Dictionary, the communication meaning transfer or convening of the meaning. Some of the authors gave some meaning for that communication. So Glad Shannon give one mind affecting another, and L.A. Richards give it is an exchange of meaning between individual through a common system of symbols. My voice is audible, na?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, and Wilbur Scum, he gave the communication is the mechanism through which by men the relationship exist and develop. So, in question paper, they give the definition. Who give this kind of this definition? Like Clark Shannon or L.A. Richards or Wilbur Sen. My voice is breaking.
No, sir, I think it's all right.
Okay.
Right.
My voice is clear or breaking?
It's clear, sir.
Okay. So, so in communication, we can simply describe it's an interchange of information between two or more person. So communication is not only limited speaking or writing. It also covers body language and personal manners, the way of their style and effect, and gesture visuals of someone else, audible in someone's ear. So these are basic things of the communication meaning. So next, nature and characteristics. So communication should be it's a continuous, not is a static one. It be a dynamic one. So it is a continuous one. Communication is all persuasive. So effective communication is a two-way process. Two-way mean sender and receiver. Like one person shares some information, another person receives the information. There is a two-way process. So communication is always with context and relationship aspect, like physical context or psychological context, some other personal relationship. So it should be a the communication under this aspect. So it communication should be a common language. So if everybody in this teaching my communication in English, so everybody will understand. Otherwise, if suppose I'm speaking in Hindi from state from Tamil Nadu, South people didn't understand. So there is a communication should be in a common language. Meeting of minds is necessary. Message must have substance. Communication can also be conducted through the gesture. So communication is a different types like formal, informal, verbal, written. So this kind of communication types is also. Communication should be through different types. And communication always has context, so physical, social, psychological, and temporal context. So these are the main characteristics of the uh, communication. The question will be, they directly ask the question, so which are the characteristics of communication. They will give 3 out of these types. You can select it from A, B, C, like this kind of question will be asked from nature and characteristics of communication. So next one is communication is sending and receiving the information. Can be one-to-one or between groups of the people, or face-to-face through the communication device. So communication requires the sender. Yep, yeah, sender means who initiate the communication. And encoding means transfer their thoughts through the a message. And receiver is who receive the message. A person who receive the message, they are a receiver, and finally receiver must decode. So after sending the message, it will decode or understanding by the or interpret by the receiver. So this is the this diagram is the basic thing of the communication. So communication will be a sender, and message, it's a channel through the which channel, like mobile or mail or post something. Decoding the receiver. So after receiver getting message, he will be decoding. So after that, receiver will give the feedback to sender. So this is a common thing about the communication. So next is the type of the communication. So type of the communication, there are different types of communication is there, based on the relationship, based on the organizational structure, based on basis of the direction, and basis of the channels. So based on the relationship, intrapersonal, interpersonal, transpersonal, or group and mass media. So based on the organizational, formal, informal, basis of the direction, vertical, horizontal, upward, downward, diagonal. On the basis of channel, verbal, non-verbal. Verbal, there are another two types, oral and written. So we look at one by one. Next slide. So basis on the relationship, interpersonal, intrapersonal, and interpersonal. Interpersonal means talking to oneself, within the our own self. We talking like tomorrow what is what we read or what we thought. So this kind of communication is a intrapersonal communication. So the first picture is showing the intrapersonal communication. So talking with their own mind. So silent talk or question suggestion, self tap, self conversation, or verbalization. Within their own mind, they are talking. That is mean the intrapersonal. Interpersonal means between the two people. So extend the message between two people, like interview with two persons, or author, reader, communicate with the author and reader. So these are the interpersonal. Interpersonal is between two. Interpersonal, their own, within the one. I mean their own thinking or their own talking. This is a based on the relationship element, interpersonal, intrapersonal. See, this is a differentiate between interpersonal and intrapersonal. This is normal. You can read it. I skip this slide. So next is the group communication. It can be among the small or larger groups, like organization or classroom. So classroom is basically it's a group communication. So each other talking or each other sharing some information. It's a group communication. Mass communication. It occurs when a message is sent to the large group of people, like newspaper, radio, television, um, uh, television, radio, magazine. So these are the mass means it's a larger level. That is the mass communication. So this is a relationship based on the relationships. And next type is the basis of the channel. So basis of the channel, there are two types, verbal communication and non-verbal communication. So verbal communication means with the words written or spoken. So verbal mean it's a literally it mean a word or written word or spoken. So one communication through the word or spoken. So it is a verbal communication. Verbal communication furtherly divided two types. So that is a oral and written. Oral means voice. Written means words. So in oral communication, there are three important features is there. One is the pitch, another one is volume in rate. So it is basically these three things is called the para language. This is very important in every question paper. They will asking question related question related the para language. So which means degree of highness and lowness. So one person how he speaking like high pitch or low pitch, that is called the pitch. Volume means sound, how much you speaking, how much loudly he is speaking. So number of people are measured in the decibels. So basically it's a sound based on sounds. And rate is a speed. It is a speed at which words are delivered. So in which way and what speed he delivered. That means the rate. So this is called paralanguage, and it under the oral communication. So this is very important. Again, I telling pitch, volume, rate is very important. The three things calling as a paralanguage. And rate is a sorry, and in written communication, written communication means written signs are simple, both in printed or handwritten, like picture, graphs. So it is basically written text. So communicator is based, and also the features of communicator writing skills, style, and knowledge of grammar, and affect the quality of the message. 1 minute. Sorry. Sorry, so I continue with the verbal communication. So these are the verbal communication basis of the channel. So next is the non-verbal communication. So non-verbal communication means verbal is words and spoken words or written words. Non-verbal means using of the pictures, sign, gesture, and facial expression. So through the picture, sign, gesture, facial expression, through the we are exchanging information between the person. It is done through the sign language, action language, or object language. So see this picture, facial expression, eye contact, and gesture, body movement, and posture and touch. So these are the non-verbal communication. So based on the channel. So based on the channel, two types: verbal, non-verbal. In verbal, under the verbal, there are two types, like oral, written. And oral means it's based on the voice. So based on the voice, there is a para language, pitch, volume, rate. Pitch means lowness and highness. Volume means uh, volume means how how he spoke like loudly or very less. And rate in sorry, rate means in what speed he in which word he delivered in what speed. It is a rate. So these are the important verbal and non-verbal. So verbal exchange of information by words, non-verbal exchange of information by wordless, by the signs, so sign, gesture, and other things. So just I skip the this slide. You go through the slide. Next is the classification based on the purpose and style. So there are two purpose and style. We classified formal communication and informal communication. Formal communication, it's formally controlled by manager or people occupying the position in the organization. Basically, it's a set of the organization, like a manager, subordinate, or worker. These kind within the power position, communication will be occupying. That means a formal communication. Informal communication with side by formal, every organization equally affected. That means informal within their own friends, we had a conversation, sharing information. That is called informal communication. So, and there is a one important in informal communication is the grapevine communication. It means like in organization or in company or in workplace, there are some gossip related to their higher position or among them. That kind of gossip called the grapevine communication. So these are the important. It will most of them number of times they asking about the what is the grapevine communication. So grapevine communication means gossip among the or informal information, propaganda among their colleagues. That is a grapevine communication. And so this see in the picture, formal communication. So this is the head of the organization and the subordinate. So informal communication within the subordinate, it's a informal communication. So formal. Next is the classification on the basis of direction. There is a based on the direction we classified the communication. Only the downward. Downward means top to bottom. Upward communication means the communication flow from bottom to top. Lateral communication means the communication is through the horizontal level. So this is within the two or more person who are subordinate. It's a lateral communication. See, this is a downward, up to down, upward, top to sorry, down to up. So horizontal, the horizontal means the same position of the in example one company, the communication among the their laborers. So this is a horizontal communication or lateral communication. So diagonal communication, it's a crosswise communication. The flow of information among the different level who have no directing reporting relationship, like is if one department see in university there is in sociology department there is a HOD and professors and students. So student didn't complain directly to the VC, vice chancellor or register. They will first complain to the head of the department. they will send to their higher officer. So this is called the diagonal communication. Other is the kinesis. This is also very important. So concept of the kinesis. So kinesis means it is a non-verbal communication, study of the non-linguistic body movement, such as the facial expression and gesture. So kinesis is the interpretation of the body language and facial expression and gestures. So according to the McGraven, so word account for 7%, tone of voice account for 38%, and our body language accounts for 55%. So basically, the McGraven the according to the McGravian, he defined the communication based on the kinesis. That means the word given the 70% meaning, and tone of voice given 38% meaning, and language give the body language give the 55% of meaning. Totally 100% of meaning of the communication. That is the it is very important. So according to McGravian, words how many percentage? 35 or 55 or 7 or 8, like they will come give in that option. So this is very important concept of kinesis, study of the body language. So according to the McGravian, there are three: word, tone of voice, and body language. Body language 55%, tone of voice 38%, and words is the 77%. So these are the types or classification of the communication. So next is the communication network. So communication network. So how we build the network for the communication. So chain confirm. There are 4 network is the chain, wheel, circle network, and all channel network. So chain network it flow that typically bureaucratic organization. So see, this is the chain. The number 2 picture is the chain network. So this is the head of the organization. He give the order to somebody. He give the order to somebody. So that is mean the chain network. And wheel network. It is also known the star network. So he information flow one central member of the group, rest of the one member given rest of the whole member. So like head of the department, the college principal, but the little no interaction with the HOD on them. It is very effective in teams. Like see wheel network. So he is the head of the principal. He give the information to the communicate to the head of the department. Head of the department share the information to professor. This is a wheel network. And another of the circle network. So member of the communicate informally with adjoining members. So it's just they shared experience and beliefs and area of expertise and background or office location, like circle. So the same information written to their those who are share the information, the information written to that person, that is called a circle. So it is not a ended one, it's a circle one. And for all channel network is both all channel that information through the everybody, like so the information from here, information from here, information from here. So this is the all network communication. So this is the different types of communication networks. So chain, wheel, circle, all channel network. So and next is the function of the communication. There are different types of functions of communication. So first is the emotive communication. So emotive means the inner state of mind and emotion, like we say oh my god, oh no, it's express our emotion, that is called the emotive function. So directive function, it affects the This function seeks to affect the behavior of other. Example, fetch me glass of the water, please. So we request to somebody, they affect, they understand, then we will give the, they give the water. That means the directive function. And patic function means this is a open channel communication. Example, in through the communication for social relation. So continuously we asking something, it is a patic function, checking or working. And poetic function means poetic means this is refers the aesthetic function of language and focus the message for is the own shape. So poetically we write something about like example, Asoka the great, instead of the great is Asoka. So the great Asoka is simply it's simple meaning, but Asoka the great means it's a poetic thing one. So that is the poetic function. And referential function refers to any message that is a constructed to convey the information. So one message that is a constructed to convey the information. And meta linguistic function means this is focus attention of code of language. So when language is used to speak about the language, so grammar, dictionary, or a dictionary, this is a metalingual function has been employed. So metalinguistic activity may be a unconscious. Example, like the use of both will or shall in correct in modern usage. So when we use the will or shall in modern usage for both, so there is a metalinguistic function based on the grammar, dictionary, or metalingual function. So contextual means it facilitate the creation of particular kind of context. It set the tone. For example, right, let's start the meeting. Like contextual means time of the was at time of the situation we started. So in starting okay, we waiting for some more people, then we start the meeting. Like this is the contextual functions. And heuristic function means we use the language to gain the knowledge, learn and explore environment. So a child uses the language to learn. This may be in form of the question, answer, or kind of running commentary frequently accompanies the children's place. So heuristic function basically to gain the knowledge, learn and explore, we use the language. That is the heuristic function. So these are the 8 types of communication functions. So others in this chapter, in this topic, and other is the denotation, connotation, smiley and metaphor. So denotation, connotation is very important. Many questions, many times they asking question in this part. So denotation means literally meaning of the dictionary means what in dictionary, in particular word in dictionary which what is the meaning they given, that is mean the denotation. Connotation mean it's a it's mean cultural meaning of the word, cultural or emotional meaning of the word. That is the connotation and denotation. Denotation means denotation dictionary meaning, connotation means cultural and emotional meaning of the word. And smiley is a comparison of the two dissimilar objects. Example, if somebody say my boyfriend like watermelon in the summer, that means we are creating the smiley compare your boyfriend and watermelon. Because we comparison between the two dissimilar objects is like a dissimilar means there is no similar character similarity, but they compare with that object. That is a smiley. Metaphor is a little bit similar to smell, we compare the compare two dissimilar objective without using the word. Without using the word, we use the dissimilar object. So, like my boyfriend is an angel, or my boyfriend is an angel. So they comparing here her boyfriend as an angel. So it's a metaphor. Metaphor means compare the two dissimilar object without using the word, or like or alike, without using the word like or like. So these are denotation and connotation, smiley and metaphor. So difference between connotation and denotation. So as I mentioned, connotation refers to the personal and cultural meaning in addition to primary literal meaning of the word. Denotation refers to the primary literal meaning of the dictionary meaning of the word. So denotation is not classified. Connotation can be positive connotation in negative connotation. Connotation can change according to the culture and personal experience. Denotation is the same regardless of the culture and person. So connotation can be changed and denotation cannot change. So these are the difference between connotation and denotation. And next is the classroom communication process given by the Cooley and Chon model. So communication is very important in the teaching field. So classroom teaching still dominate scene of the formal education, where face-to-face instruction given to the students. The primary objective of the classroom teaching is achieve the instructional objectives in the cognitive domain, that means knowledge production. Those who are concerned developing the knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation abilities. So according to the Cooley and Chan, there is a classroom communication including 5 distinct stages. So formulation of message, message encoding, message transmission, message decoding and interpretation, feedback and evaluation. So formulation message means we create the message. Message encoding means it's through the text or symbol or something, that is the encoding. And transmission means through the channel, which channel we to send the message. And decoding and interpretation. So receiver interpret or understand the message meaning. Feedback means after receiving the message, the receiver given feedback to sender, that is the feedback and evaluation. So these are the important stages of classroom communication given by the according to Cooley and Chon. And next is the noise. So through during the communication, there are some noise will be happen. Like we have in online meet, there are some voice breaking, like voice breaking happen. So this is called the noise. So noise is the interpretation that can creep in any point of time in the communication process. So it is make it ineffective. So in between the this meeting, so voice is breaking, it is ineffective. If a voice is good, then only they understanding what I wanted to what I explained here. Otherwise noise is happen, it will be ineffective. That is called noise. So environment is one of the major cases, like roadside chatting with individual, loudspeaker or faulty transmission. So noise can also occur like poor handwriting, heavy accents, soft speech, or communication in poorly littered room. So these are the barriers to effective communication. For smooth and effective communication, so it is necessary to eliminate or reduce the noises as per the first. So this is a noise. Now there are different types of noises there. So 5 types of noises in the communication. One is a physical, 2 is a psychological noise, physiological noise, and psychological noise, and semantic noise, and cultural noise. So physical means environmental sounds like raining sounds, thunderstorms, barking dog sound from fan, light, and window. So these are the physical noise, and physiological is the our body reaction. So we feel headache or deafness or blindness, talking fast or slow, high or low, temperature in room. This is the physical weakness or sickness of the noises. Based on the physical weakness or sickness, it will be create the noise. And psychological, in psychological factor, beliefs, attitude, behavior, sensitive issues, religious, ethnic and political and financial crisis. So these are the psychological factor. And semantic noises is the different meaning. So sender share one particular of meaning, but receiver receiving is different meaning. That is the semantic noise, like using the jargon word, mispronunciation, a special word, grammatical and wrong sentence. These are the semantic noise. And cultural noise is a wrong explanation, wrong meaning, or posture and gesture, eye contact, space or touch. Based on the culture, there are different meaning in the particular word. That is the cultural noise or wrong. So these are the types of the noises in the communication. This topic also very important. So question will be which are the physiological noise. They given headache, deafness, high, low, and are giving parking dark or so on. So we find out which is a physiological. So these are the important many questions or many times question is coming from the charter especially. Next is the synchronous media. So synchronous media is the media take a place in a real time, like television or radio that requires the audience to present when the media being broadcaster or performed is called synchronous media. So that is mean real time. Synchronous mean media take that real time. They need the audience when they present the broadcast or performed. So this is synchronous. Asynchronous means media that does not take require audience or assemble in the time. So like printed material or recorded video, audio video, it's a asynchronous media. And time shift. So recording of on audio and video, even visually by the audience, to be watched later at time other than originally broadcasted is called time shift. So setting VCR to record the favorite program is example. Like before the VCR, we can't record something on the broadcasting TV or radio. So now the timing is shift. We can now record the particular program in the using of the VC record or other electronic material. That is called the time shift. So surveillance. So primarily the communication is provided to the information about the process, issues, events, and other developments in the society. So convergence, it is a combination of the computing, telecommunication, and media in the digital environment. So conversion and the changes that bring the fundamentally changes in many aspects of the mass media and communication. It means conversion means some changes in the digital environment, that is called the convergence. So like difference between synchronous or asynchronous. So like phone call, face to face or video call, it's a synchronous. So asynchronous text message, email, social media like Twitter. So another social media, it is asynchronous. So these are the difference between synchronized and asynchronized. So these also important. Some questions will be asking from this particularly synchronized and asynchronized material topic. And effective communication, there are 7 principles of the communication: completeness and correctness, courtesy, the concreteness, courtesy, clarity, consideration, and conciliation. So when we share the when we communicate others, it should be all fact required for the learning. We need the all the facts. And concrete mean it is that information or message should be a specific, defined, or valid rather than work. So courtesy means commitment and the affection, with the message, and correctness, sending the correct address or correct audience. That is the correctness. Clarity, message should be a clear and specific goal. Consideration, to consider the receiver interest. So we need to consider receiver interest also. Consciousness means to communicate is the least possible words. So we using the less number of possible words, it is a conciseness. So we decrease the word through the message. That means the consciousness. So these are the principle of 7 C's of the communication. This is important. So what are the 7 C's of the principal communication? They will give 3 from there and 3 from some other things. Choose the correct principle of the communication. So, and 4 S's of the effective communication: simplicity, shortness, and strength, and sincerity. These are the 4 S of the effective communication. Simply means using the simple word. Short means very short length. Strength means that message is clear, give the clear understanding. Sincerity means given the affection with that correct message or sender. So this is the 4 S's of the effective communication. And next topic is the barriers to the communication. So during the communication, there are some barriers will be happen. So this topic also very important. So different barriers will be happening during the communication. One is the physical or environmental barriers. Barriers, physical environmental barriers are wrong choice of the medium. Semantic barriers, cultural barriers, psychological and attitudinal barriers, barriers caused by the varying perception of the reality. So physical barriers, it caused by time, place, space, climate, and noise, and choices of the medium. That is a physical barrier. Barriers caused by the wrong choice of the medium. So which medium we selected, like online or offline, or which channel we used, that will be also barrier to the communication. And semantic barriers is caused by the variant connotative meaning. So that means connoting means a cultural meaning. That means different culture people using different words. That will give the lead to the barrier for the communication. So that is a semantic barrier. Cultural barriers caused by the diversity of culture. So in diversity of the culture, it will be also create the barriers like language and different ethnicity, race, and different caste group. So through when we are communicate the different diversity of the people, there will also lead the barrier, that is the cultural barrier. And psychological and attitude barrier, based on the moods and relationship, it will create the barrier for the communication, up to the communication. And barrier, the varying perception of the reality. So one person how they understanding or comprehension on particular message, that will be also create the barrier for the communication. And these are the barriers to the communication. This also very important topic in the communication. So please give a important this topic. Next is the types of the communication model. So in communication, there are different models is raising: linear communication model, transactional communication model, and interactive communication models. So linear, there are four: Aristotle and Laswell, Shannon Weaver model, or Berlow SMCR model. Transactional mean Burnland and transactional model and helical model. Interactive communication model mean Osgood or Scrum model or Wesley and MacLean model. So we'll go through one by one. Linear model of the communication: Aristotle model, 300 year of 300 BC. Laswell 1948, Shannon Weaver model 1949, Berlow's SMCR model 1960. So linear model, it is a one-way interaction where feedback is not present. So only speaker only speaking and receiver not raising the question or not feedback to the speaking to the speaker. This is called the linear model. Like linear model example: sender, message, channel, noise, receiver. So there is no feedback. That is the linear model. It is a one-way process of the communication. And types of the linear model: first one, the Aristotle model of the communication. So Aristotle model of communication primarily focus on the sender, like public speaker or professor, who passes their message to the receiver. Like here, Aristotle communication model is foolproof way to example is a public speaking or seminar or lecture. There only one way communication will be happen. So these are the diagram for the Aristotle model of the communication. Speaker, speech. Occasion mean which event he speak, like public speaking or public rally or seminar or lecture. So example is Alexander gave the speech to the soldier in war field, defeat the Persian Empire. Here speaker is Alexander, speech is about his invasion, occasion is the war field, audience is the soldier. So Alexander gave the speech to the soldier, that means audience is a soldier. Effect mean to defeat the Persia. So this is the Aristotle model communication. It's a one-way communication. And second is the Laswell communication model. It is the based on the Laswell communication model developed by the American political scientist and communication theorist Harold D. Laswell in 1948. The model is also called a linear model of the communication, or unidirectional process, or auction model. So it is a one-way process within the communication. Laswell is a 5 major components in the process by posing the 5 questions. So who says what, in which channel, to whom, with what effect. Like communicator, who, message is what he says, medium is in which channel he says, to whom in receiver, with the what effect he delivered that message. This is the Laswell communication model. And Shannon Weaver model of the communication. It was developed by the Shannon Weaver when Glass Shannon wrote an article, Mathematical Theory of Communication. So which one, the question will be coming like, which one is the mathematical theory of communication? Who gave the mathematical theory of communication? Is a Shannon Weaver. So it is important models in the field of the communication. It is a mother of all the models. So Shannon is an American mathematician, Weaver was the scientist. So this is the diagram for the Shannon-Weaver model communication. Information source, sender, transmitter, encoder, decoder is receiver, reception, reception give the feedback to the information source. So these are the Shannon-Weaver model communication. So in the Shannon-Weaver, there are 5 significant element in the communication process. Sender, the message which has to be transmitted, that is called information source. This message can be any part, idea, opinion, views, thought, and etc. So encoder is the transmitter which uses the machine to change, convert the information message into the signal. Noise is the unpleasant sound is the noise. A decoder is the just opposite to who use the machine to change the convert the signal again into the message. Destination is the message from the sender who transmitted signal is a decoder by the receiver. Like example, in the telephone, the voice is converted into wave signal and transmitted through the cable. So the voice is the encoder and transmitter. Transmitter means in telephone, voice is converted into wave signal and transmitted through the cable. These are the most significant elements in the communication process. Sender is the information. Encoder is the which machine we use to convert to the information. Noise is a disturbance of the disturbance or sound. It will create changing in the information. Decoder or receiver who decode or receive the information or interpret the information, they are the decoder. Destination is the final places of the receiver. So these are the significant elements of the communication process. So next is the Berlow model of the communication. This also a linear model. In this model, emotional aspect of the message will be taken. So Berlow model is a communication operated in the SMCR model. So sender, message, channel, and receiver. SMCR meaning sender, message, channel, and receiver. So and each component may be affected many factors. So this is a picture of the Berlow model communication. Source, communication, knowledge, social system, culture, attitude, and message is the content, element, treatment, and structure, and code. Channel, hearing, seeing, touching, smelling, and tasting. Decode, receiver, communication skill, attitude, and knowledge, social system, and culture. So this is the Berlow model communication. It means SMCR, sender, messenger, channel, and receiver. So difference between linear models, so Aristotle, Laswell, Shannon-Weaver, and Berlow, all the model is linear model. I mean one-way communication. Sorry. So Aristotle, like speaker, given the 5 elements: speaker, speech, occasion, target audience, and effect. Laswell model is a basic framework for analyzing the one-way communication by asking questions like who said who and said what and through which channel and to whom with what effect. So these are the Laswell. And Shannon-Weaver model is the Shannon-Weaver model is first model to highlight the noise. So in the linear model, so which is can disturb or alter the message between the sender and Weaver. Berlow SMCR model is a explain the communication in the 4 steps: sender, messenger, channel, and receiver. So this is the linear model. And next is the interactive model. Interactive model that is a 2-way process, like saw the in one-way process only receive speaker only take the place, and 2-way interactive, that speaker and receiver both are taking the place. So there are 2 types of interactive model is there. Osgood's Karam model of the communication 1954, and Wesley-McLean model of the communication 1957. So, this is a Charles E. Osgood model. So it is a it does not follow the conventional pattern of communication from the source to channel. It is a dynamic process. So he emphasized the receiver also encoder and message sender also encoder. So because according to him, communication is a dynamic process in which where interactive relationship between source and receiver, now sender receiver where a person may be sender is a one time like receiver and sender one time receiver as it will change like sender to receiver. So receiver send the message, that time they will become a sender. Sender receive the message, they will become a receiver. This is the meaning of this model. Like message, they both are interpreter, decoder and encoder. This is a dynamic process. This is a Osgood model. And second is the Wesley-McLennan model. So in this model, it is based on the assumption that message in the mass communication through the different checkpoint. That means in this communication there is a gatekeeper will be there. So that gatekeeper analyze the message, then only they send the message to the receiver. That is called the Wesley and McLennan model. Like this picture, see x1, x2, x3 mean different variable, and A is the center and B is the receiver and C is the gatekeeper. So he only checking the message and then only send to the receiver. So this is a Wesley-McLean model. So next, transactional model of the communication. So it's the third type of the communication model. So it is a two-way process communication with the immediate feedback. So in the interactive model, feedback would be happen later, but the transact model it is a immediate feedback. Without feedback, there is no transactional communication model. So the major difference between interactive transactional is indirect and direct feedback. So interactive model, there is a indirect feedback, and transactional model is the direct feedback. So three types of transactional model: Eugene White's model of communication, Dan's helical model of communication, 1967, Burnland transactional 1970. So this is the transactional model of the communication. So feedback will happen here. That's why it's a transactional. So first is the Burnland transaction model. It is a multi-layered feedback system where the center and receiver interchange their places. Both are equally important. Given feedback is one is a message for the other. So this is the Burnland transaction model. And Eugene White model is it is a sequential or cyclical. There are 8 stages in the Eugene White's model, like thinking, symbolizing, expressing, transmitting, receiving, then decoding, feedbacking, monitoring, and again in thinking. So these 8 stages are important in Eugene's White model. It is also part of communication process. The next one is the helical model. Helical model is helical shape. The process of the communication evolves from the birth of the individual and continues till the existing the moment. So it is a broader perspective. It accumulates all the activities occurring in the complete span of the individual that affect the process of the communication. The communication will be a cyclic, contextual, continuous and non-repetitive and accumulative. So this is the visual of the dance helical model, like it is a helical position, spiral position. So that communication will be a complexity in this communication and model. So the difference between this no transaction model. First one, the Eugene White's model of communication. So it recognizes feedback is the part of the communication process. Helical model is a circular process, get more and more complex communication occurs, which can be represented as the helical spiral. So Berland is the model of communication, highlight the role of private and public users, uses of cues that impact of our message. So this is the difference of between the transactional models, Eugene White model and Rand's helical model. I stop it here. So mostly I covered all the topic in that communication examination perspective. So I stop it here. So if you have any doubt, please raise the questions. If you have any doubt,